Hello, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. What I'm going to be able to do here in a short moment is release another one of Donna's clips. I'm really, really fortunate that she's let me do this. I can't thank her enough. I have to warn you, though, this is going to be a very, very graphic clip. And it's basically, so after the waterfall, after they go out to dinner and they have their walk and Barry seems like he's begging for forgiveness and things like that, it would appear like they went home. And that is when the fight seems to break out. That's when the murder takes place. So it's going to be heavy. It's going to be heavy. And the audio on it, there's certain parts that are not real good. So just bear with me if you can, please. And prepare yourself. Because like I said, it's very descriptive. I mean, she sees incredible detail here that I'm sure we will find out more in the future from law enforcement to find out exactly how much of this is exact. Because that's the thing, like I said before, in Donna's readings, what you hear at that moment might not have that much significance, but it's later on you find out just how much significance it actually had. So let's go ahead and start rolling that and see, after that we can just kind of review what we heard. Anyway, I'll go ahead and play the clip now.
You're wondering, all I am is a translator, so she puts it in my head again. She's showing me the beads scattering across the floor as this fight broke out of trying to retreat and Barry catching up to her at the bathroom. And he's choking her from behind, but for some reason, I don't know if he turns her around and is trying to break that bone in her neck, the front bone. Like he's in such a rage, and he's like, it faces pure red and stuff. Oh, it's so horrible. And let's see. It's kind of I didn't want to have to do this to you feeling. He may have even said that when he was doing it. It feels like the suitcase or could be a duffel bag, but I'm feeling suitcase again. And it doesn't really matter. What more matters is if she was put into something. But it feels like he had it in the walk-in closet. So, I mean, like, to me it feels, and it doesn't matter again, I know, but it's like he grabs it off a top shelf or something in the walk-in closet, or, and sometimes images blend together, but I just am saying what I kind of see. But, so it feels, to me it feels, at this time, it feels like a suitcase. But I know a couple times it's felt like a duffel bag, which means I might not be exactly right, but it feels like he grabs it. So he planned even on what he was going to put her in. So every bit of it is planned. But he was giving her an out, but she didn't know that. But every bit of it feels like, okay, so he went right to whatever he put her in, he went right to it, got it, and started the tying up, wrapping up thing. This is what it feels like. I'm seeing that shower again. I don't know, I'm seeing the same thing again where I guess he just didn't want blood in there. Because it feels like it felt like he got the suitcase thing first, but then it's like he drags her over to the one shower where there's the glass door. And, because it's not like a lot of blood comes out, but it's like a little blood comes out, and it's like that's blood that could be anywhere. So it's like he thinks he has this handled to, cover up his crime. So he's rinsing her face off in the shower. Like he dragged her body over there after she's dead. And then he, was rinsing her face off in the shower, like, rinse out her mouth, like rinsing down the shower. And it just feels more presumably like that's less risk of any blood getting anywhere. Feels like he fits in the suitcase. Like, to me right now it's looking like a suitcase. An actual suitcase may be kind of like black in color. It might even have a stripe on it. A fat stripe straight up vertically in the middle. But I don't know for sure, you know. That's just what I see. I could see anything. And if they think I'm remotely from here to Mars and the right idea, they're like, yeah, good, great. He fits her into it, though. It's like he had it all figured out ahead of time. Like, I'm seeing him going as far as figuring out, like, which pillows are about the size of her and then how they would fit into the thing before he even ever did that. Like, total premeditation of that. She's trying to show me something right now over by her bed, so I'm just going to watch her for a minute. Because she's standing by, if there's a headboard, and you are standing facing the headboard, but you're standing at the foot of the bed. So anyway, she's standing by, we're looking at the headboard. We're standing at the foot of the bed looking at the headboard, and then if I'm standing there looking at the headboard, just to my left, that corner of the bed, she might have hit her head on there during that fight, and it's really more appropriate to say Barry might have smacked her head on there during that fight. But I don't know. I'm just seeing something happening there that has to do with maybe the struggle was a little bit even worse than I thought the other night. Because the other night I didn't see, I only saw from the kitchen and then I saw in the bathroom, but I'm seeing this one corner of the bed. I'm at the foot of the bed. She's showing me again, which is why it's really to be emphasized. You know the metal thing that kind of sticks out from a bed? Or some piece of the bed that holds the bed frame. She may have hit her head. He may have grabbed her by the back of her neck. Like, he might have tried for the front of her neck in there and broke the beads, or that could be symbolic. I'm not sure. But so on her way, somehow, could technically be one of those posts, but it feels like it's lower down. And if it's like there's only a post there, then it would be like where the carving is more square, and then if it turns to rounder carving after that. Okay, so if he was grabbing on her throat, so she's like making a run for it, if she's zigzagging around or doing whatever, but at that point it feels like he's trying to grab the back of her neck. And he's either he slams her down or she's trying to get away. I can't tell exactly, but it feels like there's a possibility she hit her head on that corner. So, like, if they didn't get blood already, then there could be some there. I don't know. I'm not seeing blood, but you know how they have evidence type stuff. And then, they don't need very much, like a drop or something. Because then I see her go to a bathroom and that might be why I'm getting choking from behind and I'm choking from the front. So, because it looks like as he's doing it is not yet in the shower, but it's in the part where there's sinks. And he's choking her and he's looking at her in the face and he's like, he's all red, but he's blaming her. Yeah, you're making me do this, but he's sick. So he's choking her from the front, and he's actually, he's thought this out well enough, because it feels like he's trying to put both of his thumbs pushing on this, not just the carotid, but also, almost like that bone there to break it, or, it feels to me like he already, I don't know if he would have looked up how to do it on his own stuff like an idiot, but, either way, what it feels like is he is doing this with thought process of exactly how to do it right. Okay, so then, so he wants to make sure not even to get blood on his hands, or, everything washed off, and not even, doesn't want to be like in the suitcase and then risk having something else rub on it. So it's like he drags her, it feels like he drags her by her neck, over to the shower, and then he's like spraying her head off, face off, not her whole body. And then, so then he's leaving her there for a second, and then I think that's when he gets the suitcase. They might not be all in the order, but it feels like the suitcase is in that walk-in closet. It feels like, right now it just feels like the suitcase, He planned to putting pillows, like estimating this amount of pillows is, folding, making sure that she would fit in it. And, it could be some kind of chest. But it was whatever. He went and grabbed it right away, and he knew which one he was getting. And see, now I'm seeing more of a locking chest. And that's the thing about it. This has happened multiple times. In my mediumship with me, I notice if I one time I see a duffel bag, one time I see a suitcase, now I'm seeing more of a locking chest. It means I don't have the exact container right, but it sure is a container, right? Of some sort. Okay, so let's see if he does it. He's dragging it. I think at the point where, this is where he had it all totally planned right up into, and he has the rest of it planned, but I mean, what's going on in his mind, the feeling in his mind, let me tap in with that. I'm going to relax and try to identify this feeling. It's kind of like an, oh shit, I've done it now, or whatever, but I mean, he did it, he planned it really down to the T. I saw a tree before when he was driving off into the thing. I saw a tree before. I'm seeing a tree again. She just looks so vibrant. I mean, she's beautiful, pretty, but that's not even the half of it, because the vibrancy of her soul is what we all see in her eyes. That comes through even in her pictures. Definitely feels like about money. She's showing me the hair in the drain, and I mentioned that. I probably mentioned that in that letter. I've seen that in the other ones, and why they feel the need to tell me over and over. There could be something that makes sense to the police for a reason that I don't know, but they're showing me again the long hair. So the reason that's important is something to do with Barry. I know Barry didn't like it, but there's something else. I don't know. I don't know if he was yelling about that even when he was washing off her face, or if he could have been so grossed out. He's so grossed out about that, and so she's already dead, and he's spraying off her face with the blood. But it could be then that he takes that out of there and throws it in the garbage. But that could have blood on it or something like that. The police would probably know, but that's what I'm seeing, something like that. Something along those lines. And he might have even wiped his pants, on accident, if you got just it on your finger and your thumb, and right around the top right thigh part, he may have wiped his thumb. If he picked up a tiny bit of that hair in the drain, and if he put it in the garbage or something, But you wouldn't think that he'd be that. But anyways, if he did, he might have wiped a little on his thumb or finger, like right there by his thigh. It's really weird. She showed me the picture of her in the black and white dress, and she has this really pretty smile. But then she's showing me something, like a tear coming out, and then wiping her eye, and then trying to put on a smile. Like she's showing me that. She's showing me wearing this black and white dress again. Sometimes things can mean something to somebody else. Could mean something totally unrelated. Someone else knows what it is. And then they want me to remind, and now, oh my God, now I'm getting super chills. Not super chills, but I'm getting chills on both legs. When I talk about this paper, I feel like the police either have it or they saw it. They know what I'm talking about, and it's a paper about putting something together. It might tie to that paper, and they might have the paper or they might not. It might tie to that paper, but they want me to remind the police about the paper, because I think the police will know about the paper I'm talking about, that the police wondered about, does this have anything to do with anything? I got chills. And the answer is yes, for sure. It's a key. It's like an actual key to this all. And I got chills on my legs, so that's for sure for the police.
All right, so we heard a pretty large clip that she put together for me. And the nature of it was, of course, the murder that took place in their home. This clip alone has me thinking that the timeline most certainly could have been on Friday. Because Barry had lived so many years with women, he probably really understands the nature of woman conversation. In my opinion, he could have faked that communication with her friend, which would have left Friday wide open to have done this murder. It also would explain his very bizarre behavior on Saturday morning when he saw Morgan Gentile, and he was telling her, rake it out, and do it just the way he wanted it to be done. So yes, this has me really convinced that the timeline shifts again to Friday. Now let's go over what we understand. If it was on Friday, here is what Donna saw that took place. They went out to it was either a lunch or a dinner. They got dressed up. They both looked fancy. And the reading that I heard, Barry is eating some sort of pasta. It's noodles of some sort. So I don't know if that's like Asian noodles. I don't know if that's like Italian food, but they were in a restaurant type setting. Now, remembering back to the height of coronavirus back in May, there's a possibility it could have even been patio service. And if that is what happened, there is a waterfall and terraced area very close to where this restaurant, Little Cambodia, that was known to be one of her favorite places. So very likely that's where her last dinner with him took place. And so they go on this walk, they see this waterfall. At that point, it's like Barry is asking for forgiveness. I think there's a divorce kind of looming or something, because Donna sees that her wedding ring, she's kind of twisting it, which would give the idea that maybe divorce at that point was being talked about, and he was trying to convince her, like, let's renew our vows, that sort of thing. And more than likely, if he did have this plan up his sleeve, he was trying to entice her by saying these things that she wanted to hear, so that maybe she would acquiesce to whatever it is he wanted. So then we can fast forward to them getting to the home. And that's probably when he approaches her with this document, this something that's important. It was a financially motivated murder. We know that. That's been picked up by numerous psychics, but Donna especially. She sees that it was financially motivated, period. So Suzanne did not want to go along with this plan. So Barry had already planned the murder and disposal of Suzanne by taking pillows and actually fitting them out, laying them out to understand how big her body was and how big of a suitcase or duffel bag or whatever it was that he would need. So from there, he takes over her. It sounds like it's so descriptive. I'm really sorry, but he's dragging her. He possibly even hits her head on the bedpost. And they have the perfect bed for that. I mean, it totally makes sense if her head was hit on there and if blood did get on there. It sounds like he's reaching, for her throat to the carotid to really cut off her blood and oxygen supply. And there's a point where he even has her over like the countertop in the bathroom, where I'm guessing she's just fighting for her life at that point. Donna, in her reading, she saw that Barry had a huge problem with her hair when it was thinning. He was totally grossed out, probably by the chemotherapy she was going through, but mostly, just the fact that her hair, he would find her hair all over. And I guess Donna would see him pull this hair from the drain and just be so disgusted by it. As it turns out, I believe after he's done what it is he's doing, he ends up trying to wash off her face to hide, I think, any blood evidence or anything like that. And, well, we know from that one clip, from there, he ends up tying up her body with a rope, basically hog tying her and fitting her into, whether this is a suitcase or a duffel bag. That is how it goes down. Another thing to note about Donna's reading that is very important, we don't know yet exactly what this is, but there is a manual of some type that Barry had possession of. It was very important. It could have said where he put her. We don't know what it is, but Barry would either have it or maybe even destroyed it by now. I don't know. But Donna completely saw that in her reading. It's some sort of, it sounds like a manual. It's a paper manual, and probably has descriptive, maybe even coordinates of where he put her body. I have no clue. But that's another thing that law enforcement either should know about or does know about. So time will tell on that. She consistently sees this situation where, Suzanne's hiding. She's attacked by Barry. She's strangled. I hate to talk about it. It's really disturbing to talk about. But if she continues to see that, no matter who her sitter is, I guarantee that's exactly what happened. So only time will tell. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with me. I'm overwhelmed with how kind all of you are. You do such wonderful things for me, and just, it's amazing. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your night. Take care. Bye.